Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this online session to support your wellbeing, a self-care kit. So we're delighted to be able to offer these sessions to the early years workforce in recognition of the absolutely amazing work that you do. We're delighted to have had funding from Scottish Government, who are hugely invested in this as well. But tonight's not about you thinking about you in your workplace, this is you thinking about you. So we're delighted to have Marie Claire Donnelly, who has delivered 2 sessions already. So tonight's our 3rd session and the response has been fantastic. The key thing is that Marie Claire will tell you is there's lots of tools in your toolkit, and tonight you might find 1 that you like, 2 that you like, or lots that you like. But the key message is just to sit back, relax, take away from it whatever you can. And hopefully you've come to this session via the Team ELC Wellbeing Hub. If you've come via a different route, we would absolutely recommend that you please go to the website. It's a resource for you that's got lots of different resources, also has opportunity to connect with others across the sector. So if you've not been, Team ELC Wellbeing Hub. But I will stop talking and hand over to Marie Claire Donnelly, who'll introduce you and tell you what's on the cards for tonight. Thanks, Marie Claire.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, and thanks so much for asking me to come along and do these workshops. I'm Marie Claire. I'm a coach, a fitness and yoga teacher, and I'm super passionate about helping other people to feel their best. And like most of us who are on the call tonight, I've been on a self-care journey, a personal development journey for the last 20 odd years, and it's still a work in progress. And I've just developed a toolkit, a self-care toolkit, which works for me, and it's all the best bits that I've learned and all the seminars that I've been to, the training courses, the books that I've read, the podcasts that I've listened to. And it's my intention to share my toolkit with you authentically tonight, and hopefully, as Michelle says, maybe one thing will resonate with you, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe at all. But I hope that you can go away tonight with, some, insights or golden nuggets that you're going to take forward into your own life. As Michelle said, this is about you tonight. And I would just love to share my experiences and the toolkit which works for me. I will stop periodically during the presentation, so if you do have any questions, I'd love for you to put them in the chat box, and Michelle will just give me a wee flag to see that there's questions coming in, and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. So what I'm going to cover tonight is I'm going to cover emotional well-being and physical well-being, as both of them lead into, our self-care and how we're looking after ourselves physically and emotionally. And first of all, I would like you to consider what would you like to get from this workshop this evening. Just take a wee moment. You've all signed up for it, and I'd like you just to think about, well, what do you want to get from this? How do you want to go away from the workshop? How do you want to feel at the end of it? And if you've got a pen and a bit of paper there, just jot it down, and hopefully by the end of it that will be realised. Now, to start off with, I want to cover the definition of well-being, and this is a definition that resonates with me the most, and I'm sure it's from the World Health Organization. They define well-being as the state of being comfortable, easy for me to say, healthy and happy, and that sounds like a really good place to be. But there's a number of different things that's stopping us from achieving that complete and utter sense of comfort, health and happiness. And, it can be things like time, it can be things like our confidence level, our motivation, external factors like relationships, etc. And again, I invite you to consider, I invite you to reflect on what's stopping you from achieving this state of comfort, health and happiness. So as I said, these are the techniques, these are the tools that I utilise on a daily basis that I've accumulated over the years that have really helped me on my self-care journey to well-being. And I'm going to share them with you. First of all, it's the emotional well-being I'm going to cover, and the things that I'm going to talk in a wee bit more detail about is meditation, journaling, your tribe, gratitude and affirmations. So starting off then with meditation, and for me meditation was a complete and utter game changer when it found me about 5 or 6 years ago. It took me from a place of being really quite stressed, really going about my daily, to-do list frantically, and just no building in any space between thinking and doing. And somebody suggested to me to do some meditation, and gave it a wee go. At first I was kind of resisting it because, as you know, sometimes meditation can bring up these pictures in your head of, these Buddhist monks sitting cross-legged for hours and hours and hours with their hands in a certain position and, going and then it was explained to me, no, that you make your meditative practice to suit yourself and something and find something that works for you. And I dabbled with a number of different things, and these are the things that work for me. First of all, the first one is sitting in silence. That can be your meditation practice. Just switching all the technology off, taking yourself to a place where there's less chance of you being interrupted. In the beginning, I really had to, have healthy barriers in place with the kids, because I'd be sitting in my place of silence and they'd be, Mum, can I have this? Mum, can I have that? But, through time, they realised that Mum's a way to meditate, and they give me that space now. And it is just maybe putting a timer on your phone or on your watch or on an alarm clock and setting it for 5-6 minutes if you can, 2 or 3 if that's all you've got available, and just sit in silence and just notice your breath. Bring your breath in a lot deeper, bring it right into the bottom of your stomach rather than into the chest. Bring it in, let it go slowly, visualise, every single part of your body relaxing, the muscles giving up their holds, noticing the surface that's supporting you, and then quietly observing your thoughts, not having to do anything about it, no judgment, no expectation, just an awareness of what's going on in your head and what thoughts you're having and how they're serving you or not. And that's a meditation practice in itself, and it doesn't take long. Another great meditation practice that I've got is lighting a wee candle, and if I've got quite a challenging situation going on, or if I'm feeling heavier, darker emotions, I'll light a wee candle, and what I'll do is I'll just visualize that I'm just transferring that heaviness, that challenge into the candle, and it's just burning away. And when we're doing that visualization and doing that energetic release, if you like, I always come away from that practice feeling a lot better, a lot lighter and a lot happier. I actually done a wee ritual last night. There was a full moon last night, and I got my candles out in front of the window where the moon was out the front, and I just done a wee meditation practice and just released everything that was not serving me into the candle, and it was a beautiful experience. Other things, and this is what I started off with when I started doing some meditation every day, and I went onto YouTube and got guided meditations. There's thousands upon thousands on YouTube, and again the last from 5 minutes to an hour and a half to whatever, and I always started with the shorter meditations, and I found ones that I liked and I just kept going back to it and back to it. And I chose meditations for relaxation, meditations that would help me to get to sleep. There was meditations for priming me for a good day. There was meditations to bring me into a place of gratitude. What you're looking for from a meditation practice, you'll generally find a guided meditation online on the online space that'll help you with that. And from there, from YouTube, I progressed on to getting some apps onto my phone, and there's millions or loads, no millions maybe, but loads of free apps on your phone that you can download, and you can use that to guide you through a meditation practice, or even just to give you a wee bit of music in the background when you're sitting in silence. My particular favourite is Insight Timer. I've also used Calm, I've used Headspace. For me, Insight Timer, it ticks all the boxes. It's free, it's got different lengths of meditations. You can do different types of meditations. You can have you know, just music in the background, or you can just have bells chiming. So it's got loads and loads of different things in there as well. And then from there, I progressed on to a class, and there's, you know, loads of classes, particularly on the online space at the moment. There's loads of free meditations on Instagram, on Facebook. Again, you'll find them on YouTube, no live ones, but on Instagram there's loads of live ones there, and you know, you can just hop on, do your meditation with a group of people, and then come back off. And before, you know, everything happened this year, we're not mentioning the C word this evening, but before this happened this year, I was attending classes. There's loads of classes popping up all over Scotland, and you know, you just have to do a research and find them if that's something that interests you. And I'm sure that they will start back up again, and people will be attending them in their droves, because we'll really need it after all this. So the benefits of meditation is it allows us to check in with our emotions. Like I was saying, if we are sitting in that meditative space and we are just, you know, asking ourselves the question, how am I feeling today? What do I need today? You know, what are my emotions like today? And just allowing your inner wisdom to bring up whatever it needs to bring up. It's giving you that, you know, we're encouraging the people that are clients, or you know, the people that we're interacting with, to check in with their emotions and, you know, describe their emotions, name their emotions. But how often do we actually do it for ourselves? And meditation is a great way for us to check in with our emotions and see where we are on the emotional scale, and name it, you know, label what emotion you're feeling without judgment, or without even having to change anything. Sometimes it's just that awareness of how we're feeling that takes us into that place of, well, maybe I need to do something about it, or maybe I just need to sit with this emotion for a wee while, and celebrate when we're feeling the emotions that are of the higher frequency, if you like, the emotions of, you know, gratitude, of joy, of excitement, of happiness. Another benefit the meditation can bring is it really increases our concentration and focus, and there's been so many studies done in relation to that, and what it can do in terms of our brain health, and what it does to our brain when we regularly meditate. And one of the main benefits is that concentration level, and that, you know, sharpness of focus. Meditation can really help with that, as well as, and again, there's been so many studies of this as well, it can reduce the feelings of stress and anxiety. And there has been a big study done this year, and you know, 2 cohorts, one of them were asked to meditate, one weren't, and you know, the group, the cohort that were regularly meditating every day for even just 5 to 10 minutes, they came back after a period of 3 weeks and reported that their feelings of stress and anxiety were dramatically reduced. And it also helps to improve our sleep. They were coming back and saying that they were sleeping better, and they were waking up, you know, much more ready to own their day, the next day. And I put a wee meditation on most nights. I'm only human. Sometimes I just didn't do it and I forget. And the nights that I do not meditate, or I do not put a wee meditation practice on, are the nights that I'm maybe tossing and turning and overthinking and just not getting as good a quality sleep. And I always wake up in the morning and go, Why did I not just put my meditation on? But we're living and learning, aren't we? So that's meditation, and what I want to move on to now is the next tool that's in my toolkit for self-care, and that is journaling. And for anybody who's on this call that has not tried journaling, I would really encourage you to give it a go, even for the next 7 days, and see how you feel after that 7 days of you know, a journaling practice. And what journaling basically is, it's a written record of our thoughts, our feelings, of our experiences. It's a brain dump, if you like. You know, I am never far away from my journal. I've always got it beside me, and you know, it helps me to jot down wee moments of inspiration or creativity. If ideas come in, I get it down there in my journal. I use my journal to practice gratitude. I also use my journal to heal from, you know, any traumatic experiences or any challenging experiences. At the moment, I'm doing a lot of meditations, and it's going back into inner child work, and you know, really healing the past, you know, things that have came up in childhood that are maybe playing out in my adult life. And my journal is, you know, a phenomenal tool for reflecting on what's coming up in the meditations and really helping me to forgive the past, release the past, and move on from the past. So the benefits, you know, other than the benefits that I've just spoken about, journaling really links very closely to mindfulness, in that it's doing that whole piece of bringing awareness to your thoughts and your feelings and bringing clarity to them, allowing you to get them down onto paper into a logical format where you can, you know, objectively look at them and make a decision on what you want to do with your thoughts and your feelings. It also helps to achieve your goals, because if you're using your journal to write your goals down or write down what your daily intentions are, then energy follows focus. So if we and you know, when we've got a focus and we write our focus down, we're in a much better chance of achieving that or moving towards our intentions and our goals. So I always encourage clients to use their journal. You know, if they've got a goal, if they've got an intention, if they've got a way that they want to be and show up in the world, write it down, because it adds that much more power to it, and it adds that much more weight to it. It is that outlet for managing your emotions. And you know, I've used it loads and loads, especially during the homeschooling experience this year. You know, if I was feeling frustrated, I'm naming the emotion, I was feeling frustrated, sometimes I had to go away and just get my journal out and just write, you know, what my frustration was, and what, you know, if I was even disappointed in myself and how I was showing up as a homeschooling teacher, I would use my journaling to, you know, scribble that down and really, you know, help me manage it and help me move on from it. When we start a journaling practice, it also encourages self-discipline, and it allows us to, you know, make a habit for ourselves and discipline ourselves to make that habit. And when we start, you know, that form of self-discipline, it can then lead on to other things that we want to, you know, make a regular habit and make, you know, new behaviours in ourselves. And where I mean by improvement in communication skills, what I'm meaning by that in terms of journaling is if you are having to go into a conversation with somebody, whether it's your boss, whether it's your partner, whether it's, you know, somebody you're working with, I always encourage clients to write it down. Write down what you want to say before you go into that interaction, and write it down from a place of, you know, non-judgment and without blame. And it always improves the communication in yourself. You can always get that your point across much better, less emotionally, and without the other person, you know, feeling, you know, that they have to put barriers up or their backs up. So journaling is amazing for that. I've spoken about the healing benefits of journaling, how it sparks creativity, or you can, you know, when you're journaling on one of your goals, or even if you're going about your daily life and a wee moment of inspiration comes in, use your journal to get it down there, and it really helps you to remember it. And the final one is it boosts our self-confidence and our self-esteem, because we become much more self-aware and much more in tune with who we are and what we want, and how we're shown up in the world. So I spoke about this when I mentioned meditation, and some journaling prompts, if you want to explore journaling, if you're not already, is what have I noticed about my thoughts today, and just allow yourself to free write on what comes up with that. What do I need most right now? How often do we, I know I never, before I started journaling and doing this, the work that I'm doing, I never asked myself, well, what do I need most right now? Because I was always too busy asking everybody else what they needed, and, doing what I could to help them. But, we cannot pour from an empty cup. So we need to ask ourselves as, caregivers, as, people who are working with children, with clients, well, what do I need most right now, and honour that, because when we're filled up, then we have so much more, I believe, to give the people that need, what we've got to offer. We show up much more fully to the world and, to those that we love. Another journaling prompt that's really, really powerful is, what would I like to let go of today? What am I carrying around with me here, and that's just not serving me at all? What would I like to let go of? And again, this whole celebration about, how often do how often do we celebrate our successes? How often do we, take a moment to reflect on what our achievements have been that in any particular day? So a great journaling prompt is, what has been my biggest achievement today? And really recognise that and notice that and celebrate it. So before I move on, is there any questions, Michelle? No? Okay, I will crack on. So the next one I want to speak about is, your tribe and how our tribe affects our vibe. And Jim Rohn said that, he's a personal development guru. He said one of his most famous quotes is that we become the average of the 5 people who we are in most contact with. And, that's all about energetically, we, absorb other people's energies, and, if somebody's, really, really positive and we're in regular contact with them, I'm sure you can think of somebody, it rubs off on you, and anytime you're in their, company, you feel lifted, you feel inspired. And then the same as with, if somebody's, in a more negative energetic space, and, the glass is always half empty, and, the weather's always terrible, and the job's rubbish, and, and I'm sure we can all think of somebody like that as well. And please don't think that I'm speaking about somebody that's going through a really, really hard time, because I believe that we need to be there for them and show up for them and shine the light and help them. So when I'm working with clients and we're talking about, their tribe, I'm asking them to think about, who are the 5 people that they're in most contact with, and describe them in 5 words. And maybe about 10 years ago, I worked with a life coach, and they asked me to do this exercise that was really, really powerful exercise, and it gave me a lot of insights into, the energy that I was allowing myself to absorb. And when I now come across people who energetically are maybe of the lower scale, or are maybe a bit negative about life, and they're not enjoying life, and they're just not seeing the glasses half full, I can then put a protection barrier around myself, just so that I'm not absorbing their energy. Because by me absorbing that energy, it's not serving me, and it's not going to serve the people that I, you know, want to show up for, my family, my clients, you know, you guys. So I really encourage you, if you don't already, and it really was a powerful exercise for me, is to, you know, think about the 5 people who you're in most contact with, describe them in 5 words, and then after that exercise, you've got a list of 25 words or 25, you know, descriptors of the people you're in most contact with, and from there you've got choice, and from there you can decide, you know, whether you need to put up that protection barrier up so that you're not absorbing the negative energy. And you know, if you've got that tribe round about you that are upbeat, are positive, are, you know, lifting and inspiring you, then that is absolutely amazing. Stick around those people. When I find those people, I hang on to them. And then gratitude. My gratitude practice, particularly this year, has been an absolute game changer, and it's really helped me to get through the difficult months. Gratitude is the gateway to transformation, I believe, and then when we're approaching life from a place of being grateful, of appreciation, then we show up much more fully, and we are a lot happier, feeling more comfortable, feeling healthier. All those, you know, that description that I said at the start about what well-being is, the state of being comfortable, healthy and happy. And if we practice gratitude and appreciation, then that can take us to that place a lot more smoothly and a lot quicker. I've started a gratitude practice in the last month with my 2 sisters, and every night we'll write down, you know, the 10 things that day that we're grateful for. We'll take a wee screenshot of it, and we've got a WhatsApp group set up, and we share each other's gratitude lists. And you know, it maybe sounds a wee bit woo-woo, and you know, as if we should be in the Waltons or something like that, but it's really powerful, and it lifts us all up. And we do it just before we go to bed, and it encourages you're just going to bed feeling that wee bit, you know, better and happier and more appreciative of your life. And scientifically, gratitude, there's been a big bit of research done over in the HeartMath Institute over in the States, and what the practice of gratitude brings us, you know, in terms of our heart health, and also in terms of our emotional health, our brain health. It makes us happier. It increases our feelings of self-esteem, particularly if we're expressing gratitude about ourselves. It helps to improve our relationships, because generally we're looking for the good as opposed to the not so good. It makes us much more optimistic about life, and these are benefits that these are benefits that I've felt during my practice of gratitude, but these are the scientific benefits of gratitude. It makes us more giving, because we're approaching life from a place of abundance as opposed to a place of scarcity. It helps to improve our decision making when we're, you know, making decisions from that space of, you know, joy, appreciation, happiness and gratitude. It helps us to find meaning in our work. List 10 things that you're grateful about your job about. It always helps us to feel better about a job. Like I was saying, it improves the quality of our sleep, and it improves our overall physical health. So this is what, you know, the guys over in the HeartMath Institute has found through years and years of studying the importance of gratitude in our life and practicing gratitude in our lives. And then moving on to the next tool that's in my toolbox is affirmations. And affirmations are I am statements, or personal positive statements that when you say them and when you say them out loud, they lift your energy, they make you feel better, and they, you know, just all round give you that sense of well-being, and you know, self-confidence, valuing yourself and recognising how important a person you are. So how to create an affirmation statement. When I first learned how to create an affirmation statement, I was advised to make it personal, so it had to be about me. The language that I was using in the affirmation statement had to be positive, and it had to be written in the present moment. It had to be something that it was memorable and, you know, that excited me when I said it. It had to be realistic, so, you know, I wasn't going to be going around saying, you know, I am a millionaire, when I wasn't a millionaire. So, you know, it had to be realistic, had to be specific, had to add feeling and emotion to it, so that when I was, you know, writing it down, when I was saying it, I was really embodying it and really feeling into the energy, feeling into that place I would be feeling if that was manifested into my life. You know, one of my affirmation statements is, I am buzzing with energy and vitality. I'm buzzing with health, energy and vitality. And when I say that, it automatically makes me feel, you know, more energized and, you know, just healthier and happier all round. An affirmation statement, when we're using that affirmation statement, when we're creating an affirmation statement, and it's maybe around something that is just not quite happening in our life at the moment, it's important for us to visualize it when we're, you know, saying it out loud, or we're writing it down. You know, so if, you know, health, if you were creating an affirmation statement around health and happiness, and you just weren't quite at that place at the moment when you were writing it down, and when you're saying it out loud, when I do that, I'm visualizing it happening. And then it's about repeating it. I make, you know, my affirmation statements a daily practice. I use my journal for them. And, you know, if I'm even out a run or out a walk, if you're ever in my neck of the woods and you see me running along and I look as if I'm talking to myself, well, maybe I'm probably doing my affirmation statements and just, you know, getting the energy behind them and repeating them. And they're really, really powerful for, you know, lifting our, you know, mood, lifting our vibration. And here are some examples of affirmation statements. I love and accept myself. You know, and when I first created an affirmation statement around loving myself, oh, it felt so alien to me and it felt really uncomfortable. And, you know, at the start I had to say I like myself, because just that love word was just not resonating with me at all. And I remember my coach asking me to, you know, say I love myself in front of a mirror, and I was like, it took me about 6 weeks before I could even look in the mirror and do it. And, you know, I just had to keep digging deep and doing it. And now I can honestly say, you know, I accept myself as exactly as I am, and I love myself, and I encourage all my clients to do the same. Other examples are, you know, I'm beautiful inside and out. I'm attracting the right people and to help me meet my goals, to, you know, help me achieve what I want to achieve in life. I am enough, and I'm healing on all levels. You know, that I am healing on all levels. That is a, you know, one of the first affirmation statements that I'll use with clients who are coming through any traumatic experience or, you know, any health issues. Just, you know, that action of writing that affirmation statement every day and, you know, embodying it, saying it out loud, can really help shift things inside and bring that to fruition a lot quicker. Any questions as yet, Michelle?
No questions yet, Marie Claire, but I wonder if you've got any book recommendations that you could recommend.
So in terms of the affirmation statements and what I was speaking about there, in terms of these affirmations, a great book by, and I'll send that over to you as well, Michelle, a great book by a woman called Louise Hay. It's called Mirror Work. That's it's like a 21-day program, and every day there's a wee meditation in it and a wee bit of mirror work that she asks you to do, and that's a really powerful, you know, journey to go on in terms of the affirmations. Another great book I love is The Miracle Morning by a guy called Hal Elrod, and that's about, you know, setting yourself up for a great day. He talks about the morning savers, and you know, the savers stands for all the different practices that he advocates doing in the morning to set him up for a great day. The S for savers is silence, A is affirmations, V is a bit of visualization, E is exercise, and I'll be speaking about exercise later, and R is for reading, so it's about, you know, filling your mind with, you know, something inspirational, something that you'll learn and grow from. And S is the journaling piece, so that's it. S stands for scribbling, so it's using journaling. And he talks about like a kind of power hour every morning, and when he started on his journey, he would get up an hour early in the morning, and 10 minutes they would spend on each of the different, you know, elements of the savers, and it really transformed his life. It set him up for a great day. He started to, you know, set goals, achieve goals, and really, you know, live the life that he was put here in this earth to live. He also speaks about, you know, if an hour is just, you know, too much to start off with, he talks about a 6-minute practice. So, you know, in those 6 minutes, it's, you know, every minute you're doing something. So it's a minute in meditation, a minute of affirmations, a minute of visualizations, etc. So that's another great book. Another one that I love is The Universe Has Your Back by a woman called Gabrielle Bernstein, and that's all about sometimes we've, you know, got to trust, believe and surrender, you know, that things are going to work out okay for us. And that's a really beautiful book for anybody that's looking for a book recommendation.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And then in terms of, you know, one of the big things for me in terms of my self-care toolkit is setting aside setting time aside every day for me, and, you know, doing these practices. And that was a big shift for me in the beginning, but now it's a non-negotiable. And, you know, the benefits that the people that I have to show up for get from me taking that time out every day it's phenomenal. I'm happier, I'm more focused, I'm calmer, and I'm just an all-round nicer person when I'm taking that time out every day. And what I would like you to consider is, you know, what can you do today to take time for you, and, you know, make that a daily practice. And even if it's just 10 minutes to start off with, and then building it up. You know, when I first started, it was a 10-minute meditation every day, and now, you know, I'm trying to have between 50 minutes and an hour every day to do dinner work, to practice self-care, so that, you know, I'm more aligned to that state of well-being, being comfortable, being healthy and being happy. So moving on now to our physical well-being and the tools that I've found along the years that really help me to look after myself and look after, you know, my life really. And what I want to speak about tonight is a bit about nutrition and fitness and sleep. And in terms of nutrition, what I do is, you know, after spending years and years doing crazy diets, some crazier than others, I've really got to a place where, you know, I'm going down the intuitive eating route, and I'm, you know, listening into what my body needs, and, you know, honouring that and fueling it according to what it needs. And for me, that's about you know, eating a wide variety of foods in the right proportions. For me, it's about consuming the right amount of food and drink so that I can achieve and maintain a healthy body weight, because I know when I'm not at that healthy body weight, it affects my mental well-being, and it also affects my physical well-being, and I've found that out the hard way over the years. So in terms of nutrition, here are all the cliches and all the sayings that you've all heard before. We are what we eat. We truly are what we eat, and you know, our health is our wealth. For me, it is about, you know, having a balanced approach to nutrition. As I said, I've tried all the crazy diets out there, and you know, given my power away to, you know, the diet industry that tells me how many checks I can have on a daily basis, or how many points I can have, or whatever it is. And it worked for a wee while, and then I would stop doing it, and I just went away back into, you know, feeling that I wasn't honouring my body, and I kind of mucked my metabolism up, and I didn't know what was good foods and what was bad foods. And now I know that there are no good foods, and there's no good foods, or there are no bad foods. They're just foods, and some of them have got, you know, a higher nutritional quantity in them than others. And for me, the balanced approach is, you know, it really works for me, and it's working, you know, amazingly well for my clients, because they're getting the control back, and they're getting the, you know, the ownership, the power back, and the decision making back in terms of how they're fueling their body. It's about being consistent, not perfect, and you know, God, how many times do we say that, you know, oh, I ate a cake, I feel really guilty, I ate a cake, and it's like, really, are we reserving are we using the lowest emotion on the vibrational scale ever, like guilt, for what we're for eating a cake, or having a glass of wine, or eating a packet of crisps? So for me, I just, you know, I had to find a way to remove that from my life, and you know, be all about consistency and no perfection. And that has really, you know, helped me in terms of how I'm looking after myself, and you know, my self-care. The benefits of a balanced diet, you know, none of this is rocket science. You'll all know this. It helps to increase our energy levels, strengthens our immune system, which is really important this year, maintains healthy blood pressure levels as well as cholesterol levels, and it helps to control our weight alongside regular exercise. And you know, when I'm working with clients, it's, you know, do you give your body the fuel that it needs? And if not, you know, maybe think about what easy changes that you could make. And for me, it was just stripping it right back to those two questions when I started to, you know, really take control of how I was fueling my body in terms of, you know, the nutrition side of things. And for me, the easy changes were to increase my water intake. And, you know, again, none of this is rocket science. You know, aiming for 2 to 3 litres of water every day. I made a switch from, you know, white bread to, you know, whole grain bread. I switched my white pasta and rice to whole grain pasta and rice. Started mindful eating. I remember going to an event, and they spoke about, you know, mindful eating, and I didn't really know what it was, and it was about, you know, being present with your plate, and you know, really taking in all the flavours, you know, all the combinations of food, and you know, having the phone away, no watching the TV, no reading anything, and just being present with your plate, and just, you know, enjoying your food, and using, you know, making it an experience in itself, not something that you had to do just to move on to the next thing. And that was a game changer for me, as well as planning and preparing in advance. You know, just thinking about, you know, what I was going to eat in the week, having enough food in, and you know, making sure I had all the ingredients to prepare my meals from scratch. And eating as much of the rainbow as possible, you know, getting as many colours in on a day of different fruits and vegetables. That was an easy change that I made, because each of the different fruits and vegetables, each of the different colours are bringing different vitamins, different minerals into your body, as well as getting creative. And I kind of switched from having my spaghetti bolognese on a Monday, or my stir fry on a Tuesday, or my whatever on a Wednesday, and just making it a wee bit different, and having spaghetti bolognese on a Thursday or a Friday, and just shaking it up a wee bit, and that really worked for me as well. And then it's about fitness, and again I retrained. I was in the corporate world up until 10 years ago. I was in HR, and I made a big decision when I was pregnant with my twin girls that I was going to leave the corporate world, and I was going to retrain and become a fitness instructor, which was quite a radical move. And I've consider myself quite lucky, because I've always enjoyed fitness, and I've always done some form of exercise, and something that I've enjoyed, and I've always really felt the endorphins pumping around my body and feeling great after I've done some form of exercise. And what fitness does is that release of endorphins. The amount of times my husband Craig said over the years, tell me to get out a run and come back happy, and he's always right, because I always do. If you're embarking on a fitness journey, and it's something that you're want to take away from this evening and add into your self-care toolkit, I'd encourage you to start in a gentle way, doing something that you love. If it's walking, try walking, swimming, dancing about the living room. There's so much things that we can do, and it has to be something that we enjoy doing. I'm not saying love to start off with, but even quite enjoy doing, and that way that it's not going to feel as much of a chore to do. It could be as basic as getting the steps in, setting yourself a step challenge, and we can still get out walking at the moment. So I encourage clients to maybe set themselves a step target of 10,000 steps or 8,000 steps, and maybe get a wee accountability group going with their friends, and just get the steps in. Make it fun and build in rewards. If you're embarking on that fitness journey, and you're committing to doing something maybe 3 times a week for the next 3 weeks, give yourself a reward after you've done it. We do this with our clients all the time, but how often do we do that for ourselves? So give yourself that reward, whether it's a cake, or whether it's a new pair of trainers, or a glass of wine, just something that's going to help motivate you and help keep you going. The physical benefits for fitness, as it really helps with our muscle strength and endurance. If we're getting some form of cardiovascular fitness, it's helping to deliver the oxygen and necessary nutrients to the tissues that require this. Regular exercise, it does, it's got massive benefits for our metabolism, and it helps to increase the metabolic rate, and we can be burning extra calories even after we have finished our fitness session. And if losing body fat is one of your goals, fitness is a great way of helping along that journey. It reduces our heart rate, so if the fitter we are, the lower our resting heart rate is, which there's so many benefits to our physical health with that, and the knock-on effect that does have on our blood pressure. Helps to reduce our blood sugar levels and improve our resistance to insulin. And with the issue with type 2 diabetes that's going on in the world at the moment, having some form of physical fitness can really help with that. And again, the whole immune system, it boosts our immune system when we are, doing some form of exercise. We're getting the endorphins, pumping around our body, the oxygen's traveling, our, heart rate's reduced. That's all, lending itself to help boost our immune system. And then the mental well-being benefits to doing some form of regular fitness. I've said, when I go out a run and I come back, and it completely and utterly improves my mood. It decreases stress levels, helps with concentration. With so many of us working from home this year, a big thing that the government's trying to do is it's trying to encourage us to go out and get a wee bit of fresh air at lunchtime. And what that does is it does help to increase our concentration levels. So when we are sitting back down at the computer in the afternoon, we're much more alert and much more focused. And in terms of our self-esteem and how we view ourselves, when we are doing some form of regular fitness, regular exercise, honouring our body, it does help to improve our self-esteem. And I felt a massive improvement in my self-esteem when I started regularly exercising when I was in my teens. And again, this whole sleep thing, it helps to sleep better, unless you're doing a crazy HIIT session just before you go to bed. It'll maybe take you a wee bit longer to wind down, and then it'll affect your sleep that way. But generally, when we are doing some form of regular exercise, our sleep is better. And then there's loads of excuses that we give for exercising. I've tried them all. So I'm too tired, I don't have the time, I'm not motivated, can't afford the gym, and I don't like exercising alone. Well, in terms of too tired, we always feel much more energized after we have some form of fitness. It's a kind of paradox. We say we're too tired to exercise, but then when we exercise, we always feel less tired. They don't have the time. I'm sure you'll know the answer to this one. It's not about finding the time, it's about making the time and putting it into your diary. That it's just as important as going to a meeting and prioritising it. And that was something that I really had to get into a habit of doing at the start of my fitness journey. I'm not motivated. Well, in terms of motivation, again, you'll know this, motivation's like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. And even if you're just starting off in your fitness journey, what I would encourage doing is maybe even get an accountability partner and both of you keep yourselves motivated, or build in that reward to help with the motivation levels. And that can really help to, and once, what is it they say, 3 weeks to break a habit, and once you've done that for 3 weeks, and then your motivation levels are that wee bit higher, and you're that wee bit, you don't have to motivate yourself anymore. I was speaking to a client last week, and she was saying that at the start of her journey, she says, I used to say things like, I have to exercise, and now she's finding herself really looking forward to it and saying, I get to exercise. And that for me was just like, wow, that was such a transformation. It was beautiful to see. I can't afford the gym, so gyms are closed at the moment, so that's a null and void excuse. But there is so much free stuff on the online space at the moment, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook. The TV's got fitness channels, so if it's affordability, there are other options in terms of to allow you to get some form of regular exercise into your life, even if it's just going out a walk, or open water swimming's a big thing this year. Loads of people are taking to the open water, and that's free. And don't like exercising alone. Again, the online space is really, really good at the moment, and you can do group fitness sessions, and where, although you're not physically in the same place as someone else, it's you've got that kind of community connection going on. So moving on then to sleep, and I've spoke about sleep quite a lot during this evening, and it's why is it so important to get a good night's sleep? And you know, when we have kids, it's you know, we're big advocates of, you know, getting them into a regular sleep routine and, you know, recognizing how important sleep is for their development, for their growth. And then as adults, sometimes, you know I didn't, we don't prioritise sleep, and I mean, I used to have a saying that, oh, I'll sleep when I'm old. But then I read a book by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep. And I thought to myself, God, I'm going to be old before I want to be old if I don't prioritise my sleep. And, you know, what Matthew Walker found during an extensive sleep survey is, you know, sleep is so important for, you know, helping our body repair, regenerate and recover. If you're not getting a good quality of sleep, then our body is, you know, in that state of, you know, inflammation, or it's just not getting that chance to repair and recover. He also found that it helps to improve our learning, our mood and our energy levels. And on Sunday night this week, oh God, for some reason I didn't meditate before I went to bed. I didn't have a great night's sleep. And yesterday, oh, you'll be glad that I wasn't doing the workshop last night, because it just affected my whole energy yesterday, my mood. And you know, it was just, I couldn't wait to get to my bed last night and get a decent night's sleep and put my meditation on. When we're sleeping, it helps to regulate our hormones. It's been proven that it helps to lower the risk of certain health conditions, heart disease, certain cancers, obesity and Alzheimer's. When we're getting that good quality good night's sleep, it boosts our efficiency levels, our concentration and productivity levels. And again, I mentioned with nutrition and with fitness, if you know calorie regulation is important to you, one of the key things is to get a good quality sleep to help regulate your calorie and your calorie regulation. So sleep hygiene, you know, that what I recommend and what works for me is it's trying to aim for 8 hours sleep a night, trying to stick to a sleep schedule, trying to go to bed at the same time. Most nights, trying to avoid, you know, exercising too late, because that's stimulating our brain that wee bit too much. So we do find it hard to decompress and get into that good quality of sleep. And the whole avoiding caffeine, alcohol and large meals too late. And the reason for that is obviously our digestive system having to take over, or if it's alcohol, our livers having to, you know, detoxify. And when these systems are working, they need quite a lot of energy, and it's the energy that's taken away from, you know, what we need to keep us in a good quality of sleep. So, you know, I'm sure, you know, I've been there loads of times, ate too late at night, and it's affected the quality of my sleep, or maybe had too many glasses of wine and woke up the next again morning and, you know, felt as if I'd had a terrible night's sleep. A good, you know, winding down routine before going to bed is important, and you know, that can involve switching off the electronics, the whole blue light thing with our phone. You know, trying to avoid using electronics for an hour before we go to sleep has been proven to help us get into a better quality of sleep. A dark, cool, tidy room and natural light really helps. You know, it's a conducive environment for getting a good quality of sleep. And that is me. So I'm just open to any questions.
I think everyone is just following your instructions, Marie Claire, and just taking the time. I have to say, I love your accountability group. I think that's such a good idea, and it might not be the walking or the whatever. It might even just be about, have you stopped and taken time for yourself? You know, so I think that's a really nice term, and maybe that could be something that the people who are joined tonight could sort of do at work, you know, and set up. So I love that idea. I think that's a really good idea. But yeah, no questions tonight. I think everyone's just taking it all in. But we'll give it a wee minute there. I've just popped a wee message on to say that we would love to hear your thoughts, everyone, on how you enjoyed the session tonight. So there is an anonymous online poll. So if you go to slido.com and the event code is self-care3, it's not precious about uppercase, lowercase, just self-care 3. And Marie Claire is really open to hearing your thoughts. We've got 7 more of these sessions, so we want to make them, as great as they possibly can. We'll take your suggestions. So yeah, I think I don't see any other questions. So I think it's just to say a big, huge thank you to you, Marie Claire. Thank you to Ian Williamson from Team EYS, and a big thank you from me, Michelle Doole from Early Years Scotland as well. And just hopefully you've taken something away from the session tonight and realising looking after yourself is important. So thank you.